And you know there's always something risque going on in there. What's been selling on eBay?
Let me show you, but first we're going to start with Etsy. I have 2, 4, 6 sales on Etsy. Etsy's just been kind of staying on track. You know, a couple a day. I had a couple of days I didn't have any, but it's been very consistent for me. So this first thing that sold was Mighty Star. It's Mighty Star 24K Polar Puff. It's a whole slew of brands all thrown together. But this was a bear. And I sold quite a few bears in this week, which is odd. But this one sold on Etsy for $26.95. Blues Clues. This was a vintage one from 1999. And it sold for $17.95. I had just listed this. It is a monkey hand puppet plush. Pretty sure it was gunned, but the tag was cut. But pretty sure it was. You could see just the remnant enough that it looked like a gun tag. Sold very quickly for $13.45. Dakin, again, Dakin. I've been going in and doing more of the Dakin plush that I have on eBay, getting it transferred over to Etsy. This was a little brown chipmunk beaver looking thing from 1978, and it sold for $13.45. Basset Hound Dog Plush. Let's see. I don't think I had a tag. Yeah, I never could figure out exactly who the brand was. To me, it kind of sort of looked Walmart, but vintage Walmart. And it sold for $35.95. And then my best sell on Etsy was this. North American Bear Company Sleepyhead Bear. It's an 8-inch smaller plush. Sold for $44.95. And then eBay.
Before you get to eBay. So this video is longer but shorter than our normal What Sold videos.
Yes.
It's longer because it's for more days. It's an entire week, y'all.
Yep.
Because sales have been slow. You know, it's the week of Christmas. Sales are slowing down. We turned
It's the
off
week after Christmas.
the week after Christmas. We turned off promoted listings that, you know, they're
like
no longer
the
being
12th.
promoted. I'm starting to talk like you. Promoted, and we were on a sourcing trip and visiting my parents, so we weren't here being as active in the stores as we normally are. But it's also shorter because, well, it's longer because it's more days, but shorter because there aren't as many items.
Yeah. And I had put my store on, it started out 5-day handling, and then every day I would decrease it. Y'all, I do not do the vacation because you can't send offers, you can't do new listings, all of that stuff. But ended up my son was available, and so he shipped like every other day for me, so we didn't come home to have to ship all of these orders. I think on eBay, for me, it ended up being about 50 orders, and I was just glad that he went ahead and did all the listings. Did all the shipping for us before we got back.
I want to cover it again. You can list and do all that stuff when you're on vacation mode, but the items that you newly list or do end and sell similar on, those items fall under your normal handling and not under your vacation time. It's happened to us multiple times. So you can do it. Just be aware that you're going to need someone to take care of that shipping for you if you're actually out of town on vacation mode. And something
one
that
of those items sells.
It'll get you.
Yep. All right. Triceratops Dinosaur Plush sold for $8.96. A lot of bread and butter. All right. I had picked these up at the Goodwill bins in St. Louis. And one had a gun, one didn't have a gun. I just decided to put them together. They weren't worth very much individually. I went ahead and put them as a lot. And they sold in like a month. These are Dick Tracy figures by Playmate, and they sold for $13.45. Just a reminder, as far as how much do you think I paid for this? At the bins in St. Louis, they charged $2.09 a pound. Based on my little shipping over there, this was probably about 10 ounces. So that just kind of tells you how much I paid for them. I had intended for my son not to ship these, But he had already started the shipping before I got a hold of him, and he said he was confident with his skills as far as packing glass breakables. And they've been delivered about 5 days, and I haven't heard anything, so hopefully everything went well. But these were Anchor Hawking Coach House storage canisters with the cute tin wrap. I truly thought that these would sell sooner than they did. They have been listed probably 2 years. They finally sold at $22.45.
When she says he was confident, this is the son. All young people think they know everything. But this is the one that thinks he knows everything above and beyond knowing everything. So I was a little concerned about how these were going to get there, or maybe not get there.
Yeah. But he did an excellent job. All right. I actually sold two of these in this time period. I'll show the other one in a second. I think it was the same price, but this IKEA Golden Retriever dog plush. This is one of the smaller versions. It's only 12 inches long. Sold for $13.45. Russ Claudia cat plush sold for $22.45.
They should have spelled Claudia Clawdia.
That would have been fun, wouldn't it?
It would have been more fun.
Yeah. All right, Manhattan toy baby doll sold for $10. Unless they are dressed and probably with their pacifiers, I probably won't be picking these up anymore. A lot of times they're just not selling for, but a $3, $4, $5 if I can't seem to have clothes and the pacifier. I probably won't pick them up anymore. 3D mugs. Some of these sell quite quickly. This one has been listed for a while, and it ended up selling for my full price of $9.95. Daphne plush. These are actually golf club covers, but a lot of times you'll see them listed as puppets also. This was a lion, and it sold for the full price, $16.95. This is a little 7-inch mini doll, American Girl, sold for $8.96. The thing with it is it sold, let me see. Yeah, in about 5 days. So very quick sell. Again, it was a Ben's pickup. So I didn't pay hardly anything for it. Russ White Seal Rattle Plush sold for $12. Here's the other IKEA Golden Retriever, same price, $13.45. I went back and looked. No, it wasn't the same person. It was just two different shoppers. They just happened to go at the same time. Jellycat. I picked this one up at the bins in Asheville. So they are $1.79 a pound. Probably not even 60-70 cents for this. It is a Jellycat though. Maddie the monkey, and she sold very quickly, $35.95. Aurora Macaron Hedgehog plush sold for $7.50. Making them gone, y'all. Douglas White Unicorn plush and bread and butter, $8.96. This came from all of those Fisher-Price Loving Family toys that I picked up at the bins the last time before this trip at the bins. Found one bin that was just tons of dolls and accessories and furniture. A lot of it was Dream from the Dream series. Unfortunately, this one didn't work. It was supposed to make sounds or lights or something, and it wasn't working. I think it would have sold for probably $40 or so if it had been working. I ended up taking an offer of $23. Brass candle holder with the adjustable base sold for $19.76. I'm trying to get rid of all the brass at this point. Kids Preferred polka dot elephant plush from 2007 sold for $15. Just a reminder, if you are listing on Etsy, you can now list stuff from 2006. I went in and just did a search on eBay of 2006, and anything that I thought was worth going over to Etsy, I've already put them on there. Just a reminder.
You try to put that in the title or description somewhere, don't
I
you?
do. If I can find a date, that's my main reason. Is it just it's an instant cue for me whether I can put it on Etsy or not. But let me tell you, I have been going on AI, and let's say I didn't know the date on this toy. I'll just go on there and I'll say, when was the kids' preferred polka dot elephant plush released? And you know what? It's been giving me dates. Now, could it be a first version, second version, third version? Don't know. I kind of then go from there and do a little bit more research, but a lot of times it automatically says it was originally released in 2011. Well, I know I can't put that on Etsy, so it's been a game changer. I mean, I just figured that out like this week, that I could actually go in there and say, when was this released? And it's helped me with some of the things that I thought looked vintage or at least 20 years old. And a lot of times, it is, and I go ahead and get it over there.
Y'all use much AI? And I don't just mean like for eBay, you're doing the AI listing tool or anything like that. How about for stuff in your personal life? I had a couple personal things, personal life kind of things I need to look up this week. And wow. I have a new Google Pixel phone, so I got the Gemini Pro. So that's what I was using. And I just caught a video the other night about how to use Gemini Pro, for detailed stuff. And it was like a 10-minute video. It showed me a couple things in there about using deep research and thinking, and it takes it longer, but your prompt, it creates a new prompt that then it uses all that, and it's pretty amazing some of the stuff it comes up with in there, and things that would take me hours and days, and I would probably never ever get it all done. So if you're not using it, I mean, even if I don't know, you could do it for like a personal health issue. Why is, like, I've got some rosacea here on my head. I could go in there and ask it about rosacea on like a 50-year-old, I say 50, but an over 50-year-old man, and ask it, are there natural remedies and things like that, and it will spew out a big long report with links to all of the places that it got its information. So you could go in there and dig that kind of stuff out yourself to make sure you're reading what was really there. So it's pretty interesting stuff that you can get.
Even us old folks are getting into it. All right, these next two was to a single buyer. These are little teeny tiny vases. I think they were in a box lot of stuff. I just decided to list them, but they've been listed a while. So I was glad that somebody sent me offers. The first one here was made in Italy, sold for $8.96. And y'all, I took a $4.75 offer on this Art Pilgrim glass. Again, it's been listed over 4 years. Just make it gone. And the fact that I was able to get, $12 for two of them, just made it worth it for me.
If that had been like a real size picture,
Yeah.
you would have been sleeping on the couch. $4.75.
Miles packed it, so you're good. Madame Alexander, poor Cinderella doll. I don't remember where I got this. Probably Ben's. I wouldn't pick this up normally at an estate sale. And around here, the estate sale companies would probably have like $8 on it. She ended up selling for full price, $14.95. Sanrio, Hello Kitty stickers, postcards, paper, cards, crayons. Been listed for a very long time. Got a $19 offer. Some of the stickers were partially used. And the crayons. All right, Walgreens. I pick up most Walgreens when I find it. This is just one of those examples. It was bread and butter, but it was a squirrel. Nuts About You, sold for $10.49. There's certain things that every time you dig through a bin, you think to yourself, I can't wait till this thing sells. And this is it. This is one of the ones out of my bin 055B that it's always in the way. You have to pull it out before you can look for anything else. It was just this My Little Pony lunchbox, but it's been listed forever, and it was always in the way. They're thick. I didn't want to have it scrunched or anything, so it just always stayed on top. But I was glad to finally see it gone. $12.11. This was a Circo Tan Bear plush from Target, sold for $9.95. Ebba, which is Aurora, Little Jackson Magical Dragon, sold for $8.96. Snoopy plush tie-dye purple and blue, sold for $10. I like $10 plush. Pottery Barn Nicholas the Bear knit plush, sold for $10. And then my best sales of the week was this Jan Van Hasteren comic puzzle. We bought quite a few of them at a churchyard sale, 50 cents each. But y'all, they are a booger to put together. This one was 1,000 pieces. Very, very nice quality. If you do puzzles a lot, you know, like Ravensburger, their puzzle pieces are really nice quality. These are the same. And this puzzle sold for $35.95.
And you know there's always something risque going on in there. We put a couple of them together before we even realized, paid too much attention to what was in there. But yeah, there's always something a little shady going on in there.
And I think like there's always a shark.
Yes, always a shark somewhere in cutting through the floor or the wall, and the Santa Claus, and he has several recurring characters that are in all of his puzzles.
Yeah, we just started a new puzzle, and even though these are a pain, that's what I picked. I picked another one of these to put together.
Because they're really worth the money to put together, y'all.
Yeah, they are. All right, this took a while. It took a very long time, but I stuck with my guns on it. It is a Polar Express logo coffee cup. It's oversized from Hallmark. I kept checking the prices, and it seemed to still be consistently this price. It just took 2 years. And sold for $44.96. Can't beat that for a mug. And then this one took about 3 months to sell. It is an Aurora baby purple hippo plush with satin feet. The satin feet just, to me, made me think I needed to list it high. I never did find a comp, neither on WorthPoint or product research for this exact hippo. So I shot high. I did $89.95, and I ended up getting an offer for $75 for this little 12-inch plush. All right, and then to Robert's store. First thing that sold, again, this is a lot of moving old inventory, but these were Wrangler men's jeans, sold for $12.92.
Yeah, let's talk about my wardrobe for a minute. I have been wearing, I can't remember the last time I wore jeans. I mean, I wore one, I dressed up as kind of a redneck guy for a Independence Day thing or something, wasn't it? I can't remember. With a bunch of people I know. It's been a few years back. And then I wore a pair today. Other than that, Rebel has never, other than that, maybe seen me in jeans one time. I dug a pair out of my old stash, and because she'd never seen me in jeans, because I just didn't wear them. I always wore cargo pants, and she said I looked weird in them the first time. But
today I thought he looked mighty handsome, all dressed up in jeans.
She has cataract surgery in the next 2 weeks.
Do not. All right, next pair of jeans that sold are these. Another pair of Wrangler men's jeans sold for $11.16. You got to quit picking up Wranglers unless they're George Strait vintage. So, just saying that.
You got to quit telling me what to do.
Aeropostale high-waisted ankle jeggings sold for $14. Shawl Dolls green open front drape cardigan sweater sold for $14.68. Lee women's jeans high-waisted brown sold for $18. I don't even know. Something Barnes men's shirt sold for $27. This person bought these 2 shirts, and then they bought one more. They bought these 2 Izod men's shirts for a total of $20.12. And then they bought this Ralph Lauren long sleeve plaid shirt for $18. So it was nice getting rid of 3 of the shirts. We don't pick up a whole lot of shirts anymore, especially the men's long sleeve shirts. Romans, this was a bad buy on my part. You know, just had them forever. Finally sold $9.61.
I saw that brand at the sale this weekend, and I looked. I was like, "Is that a good brand?" I know I've seen that. I think we've bought that before, and I looked it up, and I was like, "No, I'm just not seeing the value in buying that one."
No, I think we got them like when we bought a bunch of stuff at like a church sale one time, and yeah, I probably should have combined like sized stuff in that brand. BKE women's pullover shirt sold for $11.41. I swear I think I picked this up at that same yard sale at the end of our road that time where I picked up the sweater. What was that brand that I sold for like $200 or something? I don't remember her name.
Faded Glory?
No. Sweater. Dang it, I can't remember the name. But it was from that same sale, so we paid $1 for it. Everything that day we bought was $1, including that sweater. Wrangler men's long sleeve shirt. Again, what is up with all these men's shirts? This one sold for $17. Maybe I need to take that back. Yeah, we'll be continuing to pick up Wrangler men's long sleeve shirts.
It was Pearl Snap. Why that one does well.
But I was transferring something the other day from my store to your store, and I realized a shirt was pearl snapped because I went to look at something and I didn't even have that in the title. Another pair of men's Wrangler jeans, $13.51. What is up with all the Wranglers? You know, I guess I wasn't paying attention. Another pair of men's jeans, $12.
So I guess I should keep buying the Wranglers because
No.
they're selling really well.
Yeah, they're selling, but not for very much.
That's better than zero.
I know.
Oh, look.
Know. That's hilarious. All right, $12.68 for a pair of men's Wrangler jeans. Ralph Lauren, active women's top sold for $12. And then the 2 best sales for his store, I picked this up at the Benz. Was it in St. Louis? I want to say it was in like Nashville that I picked this up. It is Rain Spooner, which I know is very, very popular in Hawaii for Hawaiian shirts. But this one was St. Louis Cardinals, and it ended up selling for $24.68. And then last but not least, these Eddie Bauer EbTech men's ski pants sold for $32.14. Guess I better not poo-poo on the Wranglers anymore.
I guess not. I got a comment on the Wranglers, though. We have to be careful about buying them at the bins. At the bins, you can count on a pair of men's jeans weighing 1.5 pounds in that neighborhood. A little more if they're larger size, a little less sometimes. But at $2.09 a pound, you're looking at $3 a pair. If we have our photo taker doing the pictures for it, that's another $1.25. So you're looking at $4.25 for your buy-in cost for that, plus the bag, the time, and potential returns and stuff like that. So, you know, doing $4.25 into $12.68, not what we would. I'd rather have that be a little more. So I tend to like to pick the Wranglers up when I'm getting them for $1 or $2 around here at yard sales.
At yard sales, yep. That was hilarious. All right, y'all. It's time to get to work. Or not. Wait. It's Sunday. Take the day off.
Exactly.
But if you're watching this on Monday, get to work. Bye.